RetroDaze.
A weird thing happens to me sometimes, usually on a day off from work. First, I'll look around, spread my arms wide, exclaiming like a child, I can do anything I want. Do I slide through the living room in my underwear and lip sync to Bob Seger a la Risky Business? No, I do not.
But I do consider indulging in at least one or two of my favorite things, like watching 80s horror movies, playing retro video games, flipping through old magazines, or reading a book. This is where the aforementioned weird thing happens. I simply can't decide. I walk to my movie shelf and scan the many Blu-ray, DVD, and VHS options. A strange, frustrating itch develops on my chest as none of the movies appeal to me. So I switch gears and break out boxes of Atari and NES games, flipping through cart after cart: Rygar, Pong, Stinger, 3D World Runner, Super Breakout, Berserk, Super Mario Bros. 3, River City Ransom. Well, the itch on my chest gets worse. I try to scratch the frustration away, but my fingers can't seem to reach. Okay, maybe some old magazines instead. Nintendo Power, Fangoria, Starlog. No, and no! The itch spreads to my back, my shoulders, my neck. I rub anti-itch cream all over myself, but it does nothing. Fine, what about some comics? Spawn, Werewolf by Night, Giant-Size X-Men, Ren and Stimpy, Swamp Thing, or The Max? No? Graphic novels then. The Watchmen, From Hell, Superman, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, Revenge of the Living Monolith, or Batman the Killing Joke? No? Okay, maybe books by Stephen King, Ray Bradbury, or Clive Barker. Shelves and boxes and totes and bins and closets are filled with entertainment media calling out to me saying, pick me, pick me. I feel like a reluctant dodgeball captain chosen by my elementary school gym teacher to build an epic team, but I don't know who to choose. They're all beckoning me, desperate to be selected, no one wanting to be the last pick of the game. The itch covers my entire body now, and no matter how hard I scratch, there's no quenching this figurative fire. I go back to the movie shelf, then back to the games, the comics, the magazines, the books, the board games, the toys, the television shows. All I want to do is enjoy my time off, but I'm overloaded, and I can't choose. But why can't I make a decision?
I don't know what to do! I can't make decisions!
It's unable to make those kind of decisions.
You got a big decision to make.
The decision I have to make here!
I mean, to make the right decision.
I know you'll make the right decision. The right decision. The right decision.
Can't make it!
This is the question that echoes in my mind as I stand frozen, staring at an array of options. The physical media surrounding me doesn't even scratch the surface, as I know there's still the seemingly endless vortex of digital content that's overtaken our entertainment landscape in recent years. And that, I suddenly realize, is the problem. The answer hits me like my toppling tower of VHS tapes. I have too many options. The reason I had such a hard time understanding the issue is because the problem itself sounds like a solution. After all, the more choices you have, the easier it should be to find something you enjoy, right? Only more and more, I find the opposite is true. It's like when cable TV first came out. After a while, people would complain, there are so many channels, but there's nothing to watch.
'Cause you'll be channel surfing in no time.
Have you ever walked into the kitchen, starving, desperately needing to eat, only to stand there staring at all the options and not wanting any of it? More and more, this is how I feel about all entertainment media, and I know why. I'm overloaded. The more there is, the more I consume, and the more I crave. Yet the more I consume, the less I enjoy each subsequent meal, as if the nutritional value drops ever steeper as companies push out increasing volumes of junk food media with empty calories merely to sustain the starving masses. When I was younger, my mother would tell me to take breaks from the TV and go outside to play for a while. There were loosely enforced limits in place for most of us as kids, only so many hours of TV before we had to do some chores or find something to do outside. In addition, there were fewer easily accessible entertainment choices. Movie nights happened once or twice a week because going to the video store cost time and money. Renting a new movie was a weekend treat. Going out to theaters happened even less frequently. There were television movie broadcasts, but usually only being run in the evening or on weekends, and even then, only on a handful of channels. Not to mention, we only had a handful of channels. These movie broadcasts were even billed as special events by the channels themselves.
The following is a Channel 11 special presentation.
In addition, unless you were well off, you probably didn't have a huge movie or video game library. Heck, I was lucky to have a dozen games to choose from, with maybe only 2 or 3 new ones per year for birthdays and Christmas. The point is this: we were forced to enjoy what we had, and what we had wasn't much. With nothing else available, we'd go back to the well a lot more often than we do these days. We'd play the same game for several months. We'd watch the same movies over and over, if we were lucky enough to actually own the VHS tape, which was a luxury early on. And when we got bored with our limited selections, we'd go do something else that had nothing to do with entertainment media, like ride our bikes or play handball.
Hey, on Cam John, taking over the video for an important announcement. We have just launched a brand spanking new Discord server for viewers of the channel where we'll answer questions, take requests, and tip you off to insider information. Like, just how many caps do I really own? You can find the invite link in the video description below. And hey, while you're there, you know the drill.
Even though our contemporary sensibilities want to see those limitations of old as a negative, the truth is it made everything feel special when we were younger. The same way we perceive holiday traditions as momentous because we only do it once a year, movie night felt special because we might only do it once a week. A new video game purchase was a grand occasion worthy of celebration because the event seldom occurred. As adults, not only do we have a significantly larger pool of options before us, but we also have our own money with which to purchase as many movies, games, books, comics, and toys as we want. Most of us have some semblance of self-control in these matters, but even with self-control, we certainly own much more than we did as kids. Now, I'm not saying that any of this is bad, but still, there's that itch that I can't seem to scratch, and I'm beginning to learn that the ointment is easy enough to apply. Stepping away from entertainment media more often, like we did as kids, is essential. Instead of binge-watching that new series on Netflix, try watching a single episode a week. I know, sounds crazy, but even now, some television programs only air once a week. Take advantage of that. Discuss the episode with your friends and family. Speculate about what might happen next week. Read fan theories on the internet. Write a review or a blog post about it. I think back to what it felt like to experience a series like The X-Files for the first time as it aired. Waiting impatiently for the next episode was a wondrous torture, the anticipation making each subsequent reveal, will it be a mythology episode or just one of the Monster of the Week installments, all the more exciting.
Don't watch it alone.
They've got a UFO here, and they'll do anything to keep it a secret. I think those kids have been abducted.
By who?
By what?
Position 10 requesting backup.
Your lives may be in danger. You've seen things that weren't to be seen.
The X-Files. Some mysteries were never meant to be solved. All new episodes. Fridays.
During those in-between times, if you were a super fan, you might even go out to Walden Books and buy the latest volume of The Truth Is Out There, the official guide to the X-Files, or one of the related novels. It was often all we could do during the long summer hiatus between one season and the next. Another trick we can employ is attempting to recreate that feeling of a special occasion. Instead of watching a movie every night, why not only on the weekends? I wish I could say let's only watch movies rented from the local video store, but we all know that's not really possible for most of us anymore. We have a couple videos here on RetroDaze that might help with creating a special movie night experience, including the video rental store experience of the 80s and 90s, fast food pizza and movies during the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and our most recent episode about movies, a nostalgic Halloween movie and TV marathon. If I wasn't clear, the only real remedy to decision paralysis is to reduce the number of choices you have. That may not be the easiest thing to do when you subscribe to a dozen different streaming services, have your own unending collections of media, and have access to the internet. Arriving at a satisfying solution is going to take a little creativity and a whole lot of willpower. But I think it's worth it if I can get rid of this darn itchy rash once and for all.
I know it's possible that I'm only one of a very few who experience decision paralysis brought on by the infinite digital expanse of the 2020s. Maybe you watch this video utterly confused and wondering what I've been blathering on about. And that's okay. Certainly not everyone feels overwhelmed by overconsumption of media. We don't all experience the world in the same way, and it's completely possible my perception of the contemporary media landscape is skewed based entirely on my own background and upbringing. Then again, maybe you've noticed a peculiar itch beginning to form on your back, just out of reach and growing in intensity. And if that's the case, I wonder, how will you scratch it? I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. And if you enjoy our content, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and maybe even activating that ubiquitous notification bell, as it really does make a huge difference. Let's meet again next week to celebrate yesteryear, right here on RetroDaze.
Clicky clacky.